People in Gaza are struggling to get their basic water needs.
We stand in long queues for hours, hoping to get some clean water. My little girl and I are waiting in these long lines under the heat of the sun. We appeal to the whole world to help us at least get some clean water.
The destruction of infrastructure in Gaza has left millions without water and desperate for clean water. So desperate that some of these people are now reportedly drinking from puddles while others are forced to wade through pools of sewage. A CNN investigation confirmed that Israeli soldiers have intentionally targeted water facilities, a blatant violation of humanitarian law. In July, for example, Ryan Grimm's Drop Site News discovered a video posted on Instagram by an Israeli soldier showing them wiring explosives and then blowing up the Canada water reservoir in Rafah. Take a look. The soldier wrote that blowing up the reservoir was in honor of Shabbat. CNN geolocated the video and confirmed it was legitimate. Satellite imagery also clearly shows that the reservoir was damaged. You can see there on the left, July 18th, and on the right, July 30th, and it had been destroyed along with the surrounding area. Now, that reservoir provided water for 150,000 people prior to October 7th. When asked about the incident captured on camera, the IDF told CNN that its troops had been operating in the al-Sultan area for several weeks to dismantle terrorist infrastructures and eliminate terrorists, whilst taking feasible measures in order to mitigate damage to civilian structures. And they claimed that the incident was under review. Human rights experts say this is illegal behavior. The destruction of the Canada water reservoir is certainly a breach of international humanitarian law. Mark Zaton, Director General of the Geneva Water Hub, a Swiss institute specializing in hydrodiplomacy, told CNN, IHL is meant to protect against indiscriminate attacks on the civilian population or the objects they depend on for survival, he said. Unfortunately, the destruction of the Rafah reservoir doesn't seem to be an isolated incident. Around 70% of all water and sanitation facilities in Gaza have been destroyed or damaged. Due to damaged facilities and fuel shortages, no water systems are operating at full capacity. More than 2 million people in the Strip now primarily rely on pumped water from wells operating at around 15% capacity, as well as water supplied by Israel's water company, Mikrat, via 3 pipelines. The amount of water available in Gaza works out at just 4.74 liters of water, 1 gallon, per person per day, Oxfam reported in July, adding that this is just under a third of the recommended minimum in emergencies and less than a single toilet flush. The international nonprofit has accused Israel of using water as a weapon of war, saying Palestinians in Gaza have almost no water to drink, let alone to bathe, cook, or clean. The ramifications of that have already begun to continue to get worse. More than 1.7 million cases of infectious diseases have been recorded in Gaza, according to the Ministry of Health there. Traces of highly infectious polio virus transmitted through feces and contaminated water or food were found in a 10-month-old child in the central Gazan city of Deir al-Balah earlier this month. The child was later paralyzed due to the disease, the UN said on August 23rd. Other refugees are also suffering from skin infections, while expectant mothers face a heightened risk of stillbirth. Humanitarian workers and government officials have said Israeli officials were repeatedly rejecting aid, including water purification systems at entry an accusation Israel denies. Yes, how do you wrap your head around this story if you even can? And what is the best response here? What should the US government be doing?
I mean, who cares, right? There are blatant humanitarian violations, but who cares? Is anybody going to do anything about it? Probably not. They're just going to wag their fingers at Israel, scold them, and tell them, that's not really how we do things around here. But without any real consequences, Israel is going to keep doing what Israel has been doing for the past 10 months and longer. Of course, they're going to continue to escalate their attacks. Of course, they're going to get more and more bold in their violations of humanitarian law. It doesn't mean anything to them. The UN cannot challenge the United States. And as long as Israel has the US on its side, it is free to do whatever it wants without consequence. And this is exactly why there's an uncommitted movement. Because people are tired of having to just settle and vote for people who aren't going to do the things that people voting for them want them to do. We're told that one party is better than the other, but at the end of the day, if we're still sending weapons to people who are using them to kill innocent people, then what is the tangible difference? So it's understandable that people are rebelling against that. It's not only understandable, but it should be expected. It should be expected that people will withhold their votes in November regarding this issue. And you mentioned it earlier on the damage report, Jordan, that you now have a trigger response to seeing these types of things. And that's something that I think many people can relate to. It's not normal. We're not used to seeing these horrific images the way that we're seeing them now on social media. We're being live streamed a genocide while being told that Harris and Biden are working very hard to stop it. Let me tell you, paying taxes this year was very difficult, and casting a vote this November in an election that should feel victorious and historic will be tainted by the deaths of these innocent Palestinians.
I couldn't agree more. And, for us to shield Israel from any real accountability here while participating, as Yaz said, is it's just immoral. And might I say this, kudos to CNN for the reporting, the extensive reporting, investigative reporting here, the satellite images, the whole way they pursued the story. But we're still, thank goodness for social media, we're still not getting these stories in the raw form other than this network, thank goodness for TYT. We're not getting enough of these stories that are so painful, the nitty gritty of them. It's a whitewash, if you will, throughout most of the mainstream media. And I think she's right too. This is why people are desperate to withhold their vote until we get just an inch or two more. And I just think it's shameful.
Yeah, uncommitted voters are not asking for a lot. They're not asking for the entire platform to be rewritten. They're asking for the Biden and Harris administration to use the leverage that it has right now, currently, to stop this war. Without US arms shipments, Israel would not be able to do this. This war would end swiftly. Netanyahu is just taking the US and doing whatever he pleases. We're continuing to give him weapons as he deliberately and knowingly obstructs a ceasefire deal that the Biden and Harris administration purportedly support. And members of Netanyahu's own government are calling him out for doing this because they know if he gets a deal, he'll lose a couple key members of his government and their part and the people that support them, and he'll be out of power. They'll have a new election, he'll be gone. It's purely self-serving, and as a result, millions of people are suffering. Think about the scale here. What was it, 1.7 million cases of infectious diseases? This isn't just an isolated incident. This isn't a couple people. Think about the scale of the suffering here that we are fueling. The intentional rigging up with explosives of a water reservoir, for what? None of this is self-defense. And I think that was so upsetting for a lot of people hearing that in Harris's speech last night. Framing all of this as Israel's right to defend itself. October 7th was one day almost a year ago. There has not been anything close to the scale or size of that attack in response since. Yet 40,000 plus, and that is a conservative estimate, of people have died as a result of this war. There are many more trapped under rubble. It's hard to imagine what the actual death toll is in Gaza. This is not self-defense. These are war crimes, and this is a genocide, and they are trying to eliminate all of Gaza. It has been abundantly clear from the first week what was going to happen. And the US, our government, our leaders are pretending like it's some evenly matched war. The framing of a war alone is a slap in the face. So that's all they're asking for, and that they couldn't even give a Palestinian American last night 2 minutes to go up there, endorse Harris, and talk about what it means to be a Palestinian American in a moment like this is just truly repugnant.
Yeah, they had to let the Republicans speak, so there just wasn't, enough time. So.
Yeah.
And Jordan, we don't have a Department of War, we have a Department of Defense. It's all a matter of framing, it's all a matter of propaganda, it's all a matter of selling something to the public that is unsavory in a way that feels safe, in a way that feels comforting even, right? It's defense, right? Defense is a lot more cozy than an offensive strategy that is rigging up water towers and bombing them so that people don't have access to water to drink. How long can people survive without water? It really is unfathomable. And the bigger the numbers get, the less our brains can comprehend them. And that's actually something smart that the Republicans did at the RNC. Is they brought out individual stories of, oh, this person was harmed by one immigrant, right? People can actually relate to those stories a lot better than hearing these numbers of however many tens of thousands of people have died and however many millions more people are suffering. That's very hard to wrap your head around.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.